So this was not the video I wanted to make after my complete remission video, but cancer and chemo are a roller coaster. So I'm on the end of it, but I gotta keep my seatbelt on. So let me tell you what happened. I am one of the 1% of people that have a reaction to one of the chemo drugs that I'm on called Bleomycin. One of the rare side effects of this drug is that it can cause lung toxicity. And I am now in the club. So I'll tell you kind of how it started. Actually, it was my PET scan 3 weeks ago where I got the clear report that they noticed some things going on in my lungs, some inflammation or infection, but I didn't really have any symptoms. And then just about a week ago, I felt like I was getting a cough like in my lungs, like a dry cough to like clear my lungs. And then I had taken the subway and I was going upstairs. And when I got up the stairs, I was like, if I don't sit down right now, there's gonna be like a serious issue. So I got up outside and I just looked for anywhere to sit down. And it was just like, which, you know, I've been going to like kettlebell classes. I've been doing all the things. Like it was just so kind of weird and out of the blue. And then I noticed when I was walking, like I was more paying attention to my breathing, whereas usually when you breathe, you don't really think about it. So that was last Saturday, a week ago. And when I got home, I thought, you know, maybe I should just go to what is Memorial Sloan Kettering has an urgent care 24 hours. It's really more like a emergency room, but they don't call it that because then they would have to take anyone. So if it's an urgent care, they can just take their patients. So I said, you know, I have chemo on Tuesday. I want to stay on track. I want to be proactive. I wasn't feeling horrible or anything, but I was like, let me just go so I can stay the course. And they did all the they did blood work. They did like COVID, flu, RSV, all clear because I don't have any like sick symptoms. I didn't have a headache, a cold, you know, like any of those things that make you feel like, oh, I'm sick. It was just like my lungs. They did an EKG for my heart. That was fine. And then they sent me for a CAT scan, a CT scan with contrast. And I guess that's where they saw that my lungs were pretty messy. So the doctor there gave me this gigantic antibiotic horse pill that I was supposed to take for a week. I started taking it, but didn't really notice any difference like in my breathing when I was moving or talking or walking. The hardest, as I said, was stairs. When I would take the stairs up to my apartment, I would have my coat on and I would just come in and I would have to just lay down on my bed without taking off my coat, my mask, just kind of like, and my heart would be just like beating till it calmed down. So it was pretty intense in terms of my breathing situation. And I think you can even still hear it in my voice now. Like it's not exactly how it was or how I want it to be again. So I went on Tuesday to my scheduled chemo session. My oxygen level, by the way, was a 90. It's supposed to be like, I don't know if you remember on those finger things you do during COVID, it's supposed to be like 95 to 100. So it was like 90, 91. I was getting really winded just from walking a couple blocks. And my oncologist was like, there's no way you're doing chemo today. I cannot send you in your state to do chemo. What he did was he prescribed me a super high dose of steroids because apparently the steroids are the way to treat this lung allergic reaction. Slowly, I started feeling better talking, not as out of breath. I now can do the stairs and I do feel my heart kind of, you know, going pitter patter and breathing heavy, but I don't have to lay down now. So I do see like slight improvements. My oxygen level is around 94, 95. But what really sucks is like now, literally all I can do is just go for short walks. And even like I'll walk a few blocks, I'll look for a bench, I'll sit, and then I'll walk again. But I do see like the improvement slow, but I'm so impatient and it's just gonna be a slow road. I might have to be on these steroids for like a month. The day before I went for chemo, I thought I went from chemo on Tuesday, they sent me to a pulmonary test And I took this test before I started chemo, and it was my favorite test because the guy that did it was like, "Are you a swimmer?" And I was like, "No, better, I'm a surfer." And he was like, "Wow, your lungs are in really good shape." And I was so proud. And when I went on Monday, I could like barely do what they were asking me to do. And after every like test or every procedure they had me do, I was like, "Are we done yet? Are we done yet?" It was torture because I just felt like I was here and now I'm here, and I'm supposed to be like finishing. So I'm gonna do the pulmonary functioning test again, probably a few times to see how my lungs are improving. Hopefully they'll get back to normal or as close to normal as possible, but it's just very frustrating because it's like I'm in complete remission and now I'm like moving 10 steps back in the sense that I can't do most of the things that I was doing while I had cancer because of this stupid drug. Apparently they're doing test trials with this drug, taking it out of people's therapy for Hodgkin's lymphoma to see if it's really needed because of these lung issues. And what I was told was most likely in 10 years, this drug won't even be part of the regimen. This means in all, my chemo so far has just been delayed by 1 week. So it's not a horrible delay. I'm still planning to be in Mexico, for the summer. We'll see if I can surf or not, or maybe just paddle around on my board, but I will surf eventually. Yeah, kind of a bummer video. Just shows you that cancer is hard and chemo is hard, but I'm still moving my way through it, not in the linear and quick way that I wanted to be, but I guess that's just life. For F cancer, let's add F chemo to that as well. And thank you, I've been doing this with flowers every time, and this is just like such a wealth of colors. So thank you to everyone for brightening up my day always.